So we're not talking about playing here, we're talking about practice. Practice pads. What's going on, everybody? Nick Costa here, and in today's video I'm going to be playing through a few different practice pad options. Being that we're getting into the holiday season, some of you might not have that opportunity to practice on traditional drum sets. So in this video, I'll be showing you a few different practice pads that I own to see which one best fits your needs. Now in this video, I'm going to be showing you practice pads by two companies that I proudly endorse. Prologix, which is based here in the United States, and of course Vic Firth, which is also based here in the US. So let's go through a quick rundown of all of the pads that will be featured in this video. Now Prologix is a company that exclusively focuses on practice pads. They make practice pads ranging from your traditional style to a bunch of different conditioning pads. Now when I say conditioning, I mean those types of pads that are super popular right now, like the one that's all blacked out. They also make practice pads for marching percussion, as well as a couple cool configurations that would allow you to have 3 people practicing simultaneously. And of course, you can't go wrong with a traditional Vic Firth practice pad. So let's go ahead and go through a quick rundown of all of the pads that are featured in this video. The first one is the pad that's actually in front of me, which is the Prologix Johnny Rab Signature Ostinato pad. This pad was designed by Johnny Rab to have multiple surfaces, so when you are practicing your ostinatos, you have 2 different playing sounds. Now the cool thing about this pad is that the center section is their green 5.5 millimeter. Now that's going to sound like a random millimeter to you, but that green 5.5 millimeter is their traditional feel for a practice pad. Now you're going to notice on the 2 sides that there is this black material. That is their black vortex, which is a harder feel and a completely different sound than that center section. Now with those 2 different pad types, it actually creates 2 different sounds, which makes this pad great for you if you need to practice your ostinatos. Now the really cool thing about this pad is that it comes with a 4 millimeter insert that goes over that green section. By doing that, you now have a reduced rebound, almost as if you were playing on a floor tom or a snare drum on a drum kit. Finally, this is a dual-sided pad, so you can reverse it to the other side and you will see it's completely recycled black vortex. Once again, it's a harder surface that is different than the green or that gray surface area that's on the opposite side. Now let's go ahead and talk about the original pad that I got from Prologix way back in 2014. This is their Red Storm pad. Now mine looks a little bit different than the one that they currently create because this is the first edition. Now the reason why I got this pad is because of the fact that it felt more like a snare drum on a drum kit than your traditional practice pad. As you know, when you are playing on practice pads, some of them have this ridiculous rebound, and then when you go and practice something on the kit, not having that same rebound, it can feel a little bit different. With this pad, however, it felt closer to a snare drum, so anything that I practiced on it, by the time I got to a kit and tried to implement some of those things, it felt closer to one another. Just like all of the other Prologix pads, it had that rim area, which made it really cool. And the one thing I liked the most about these original editions is that there were actual cutouts, so it could hold on to place with your snare stand. Now the next practice pad in that larger size is the traditional Vic Firth one-sided practice pad. This is the one that I keep in my drum studio, so if I just need to hash something out really quick, it is there. The thing I like about it is that it is a little bit heavier than your smaller size practice pads, so you don't have to worry about it jumping all over the place or anything else. Mind you, the Prologix pads are equally as heavy, so again, they're not jumping or bouncing around as you play. But this is just a run-of-the-mill practice pad. It is one-sided, it gets the job done, and you have nothing to worry about. Alright, so let's dive into some smaller practice pads. The first one is the Prologix Method Mini practice pad. This is a 6-inch practice pad that is dual-sided. Once again, that green side, which is their run-of-the-mill practice pad rebound, and then of course the opposite side, which is that recycled black vortex. Finally, we have the smaller version of the Vic Firth one-sided practice pad. This is another 6-inch practice pad, and as a matter of fact, it's the one that I keep in my bag when I teach in the Philly School District. The cool thing about this practice pad is that on the other side, it's got threading, so you can thread this onto a cymbal stand. Now for this video, I'm going to be playing the same exercise for all of the practice pads. That involves playing 4 single flammed mills, followed by 4 Swiss Army triplets, and then a single paradiddle. By playing that single paradiddle at the end, that allows me to switch and play this exercise again left hand lead. Now with this video, what you really want to be looking out for is the rebound of my drumsticks. you're going to notice that with each pad, the rebound is different. You'll also notice there's a little bit of a different sound with each practice pad. All right, so with this playthrough, I'm going to be starting out with the smaller pads. We're going to start with the Vic Firth first, then I'm going to move over to the Prologix Mini Method pad. I'll then transition to the larger pads, again starting out with the Vic Firth single-sided pad. Then I'm going to move over to the Prologix Red Storm pad, and then finally wrap up with the Johnny Rab Ostinato pad. Let's go ahead, dive in, and check all these pads out. By the way, if you want to learn this exercise that I'm about to play, leave a comment in the comment section below, and if enough people request it, I'll create a video. All right, there you have it. Hopefully you found a practice pad that you think would work best for you. Be sure to leave a comment in the comment section below letting me know which pad you think would best fit your needs. Now, in my opinion, as a drummer whose 95% of their career is being an educator, I think this Johnny Rab Ostinato pad is a perfect fit. The reason why is because on this one side where I have the dual surfaces, it allows me to have a pad surface that's closer to a traditional practice pad. I think the rebound isn't as much as that traditional Vic Firth pad, but it's not like a conditioning pad where there's no rebound at all. The really cool thing about it though is that since I have two playing surfaces on the one side, if I am working with younger students who might be having a difficult time, I can actually isolate my hands on the two different surfaces. That way they can see what both hands are doing. I can also have those students come up and practice these patterns on the two different playing surfaces. Once they get it down, they can then move over to just the single playing surface and see how it all connects. Of course, with that insert, I can put that in the center section. So if I want the rebound to be tamed down a little bit, have that option as well. Finally, if I have to transition from teaching elementary students to students focusing on drum set or students who are doing marching percussion, I can simply just flip the pad over and I have a harder surface to play on. Of course, this isn't the same type of feel as the Prologix marching pads, but it is a harder surface and is closer to it, and then I don't have to carry around a bunch of practice pads. Now, of course, I would love to carry around a large pad all the time. Sometimes I don't have the space for it, and that's where those smaller pads come into play. You may have noticed, however, that with those smaller pads, because they're smaller, they're lighter, and they tend to move around as you play on them. So one thing to keep in mind is that although they are a little bit more portable, you are going to run into that risk of them moving around as you are playing on them. Now, of course, you can solve that. If you have the Vic Firth pad, you can just thread it onto a cymbal stand and call it a day. Or if you have a snare stand that actually can allow the basket to get to those smaller diameter drums, you might want to put the pad on that. Of course, if you're looking for portability, nobody's really carrying around a snare stand though, so just keep in mind that they could bounce around as you play on them. Now, in my opinion, if I'm going from the most amount of rebound to the least amount of rebound with the smaller pads, I think the Vic Firth pad has the most rebound. And then of course that Prologix Mini Method pad would have the least amount of rebound. The harder side has a little bit more rebound in my opinion than the green side does. Now with the larger pads, once again, I think the Vic Firth has the most amount of rebound. Then the green surface of the Prologix Johnny Rab Signature pad has the next amount of rebound. And then believe it or not, I feel like this gray insert and the Red Storm pad have equal amounts of rebound, and those would be the least amount. Of course, that back side, the black vortex side, has a little bit more rebound than the Red Storm or that gray surface does, but it does not have as much as the green. So in order, it would go Vic Firth, green Johnny Rab, black vortex side of the Johnny Rab. Then it would be a tie for the gray insert or the Red Storm. And I'd love to get your feedback on what kind of feel you like from your practice pads, so make sure that you do leave that in the comment section below. And of course, if you have any questions on practice pads, leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll try and help out any way that I can. If you like this video, make sure you give it a good thumbs up, and of course, while you're here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, as well as the bell notification. That way you're notified of any additional content I upload to the channel. And that is it. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hopefully you've learned something from it. And until next time, see you later.